What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Think you know South Korea? Think you've got it all figured out from those BTS music videos and Squid Game episodes? Kimchi, K-beauty, the perfect Seoul skyline? Sure, that's part of it. Cute cafes, perfect skin routines, and dramatic love stories, right? Wrong. So wrong, bro. You have no idea. You're about to have your entire perception of this country flipped upside down. Today, we're diving headfirst into the wild, untamed reality of South Korea, the stuff you won't find in any K-drama, the experiences that haunt you long after you've left the peninsula. I spent 3 years living in Seoul, navigating these hidden rules, making devastating mistakes, and learning secrets that most tourists never discover. We're talking brutal social hierarchies that can destroy careers with a single wrong word. Ancient shamanic traditions that still control billion-dollar boardrooms, and cultural taboos so intense, so deeply rooted, you could end a friendship just by using the wrong hand to pour a drink. But here's what I discovered living there. These aren't separate issues. They're all connected by one terrifying truth that'll make you question everything you think you know about modern society. So grab a soju, kick back, get comfy, and get ready to have your mind blown. This is the real South Korea, the Korea that whispers secrets to those who dare to listen. Let's start with something that seems innocent enough: meeting new people. The moment you meet someone in Korea, an invisible calculation happens. Who's older, even by a few months? Because that person automatically outranks you forever. Your age isn't just a number. It's your entire social identity, your place in the hierarchy, your worth as a human being. But here's where it gets sinister. They don't just use one age system. They use 3 different ones simultaneously. Your international age, your Korean age, which makes you 1 to 2 years older, and your zodiac age, based on the lunar calendar. I watched a Korean friend have an identity crisis, trying to figure out if she outranked someone born in December when she was born in January of the following year. The older person speaks first, orders first, sits first. And you pour their drinks with 2 hands, always. Miss this rule, and you've just committed social suicide. I've seen grown adults get physically uncomfortable, sweating, fidgeting, when foreigners mess this up. But it goes deeper than respect. It's about absolute power. The older you are, the more right you are. Period. End of discussion. This system creates a brutal hierarchy where talent doesn't matter, creativity gets crushed, and innovation dies in the suffocating silence of unquestioned authority. Remember this age obsession? Because it's about to get much worse. Now, while you're thinking about this modern, tech-obsessed society, picture this. Behind those gleaming Samsung towers, in rooms that smell of burning incense and ancient herbs, shamans are quietly influencing billion-dollar decisions. CEOs don't just check market reports, they consult mudong, female shamans who speak to spirits and predict the future through ritual and trance. I witnessed a major corporation delay a product launch for 6 months because a shaman said the timing would bring bad fortune. Politicians time their announcements based on spiritual advice. Those beautiful mountain temples aren't just tourist attractions. They're active power centers where business deals worth more than entire countries' GDP are blessed or cursed. Here's what they don't tell you. Nearly 40% of Koreans regularly practice some form of shamanism or consult fortune tellers. Your ultra-modern Korean friend who works at a tech startup probably checks their saju, their 4 pillars fortune telling, before making any major life decision. Companies schedule product launches around auspicious dates. Apartment prices fluctuate based on feng shui principles. The traditional and technological don't clash here. They merge into something uniquely Korean, something that should terrify anyone who believes in logic and reason. And that age hierarchy I mentioned, it applies to shamans too. The older the mudong, the more powerful their spiritual authority. But if you think supernatural beliefs are the strangest, wait until you hear about the color that can literally end someone's career. Never, ever write someone's name in red ink in Korea. Not on a birthday card, not on a document, not even as a joke. In Korean culture, red names are reserved for the dead. You're literally marking someone for death. This isn't superstition. It's deeply embedded cultural trauma. During Japanese occupation and war periods, names of the deceased were recorded in red. The association runs so deep that even seeing your name in red can trigger genuine fear and anger. I watched a foreign teacher nearly get fired for writing student names in red ink on a test. The parents were livid. Death threats were made. The school administration had to call an emergency meeting. What seemed like an innocent color choice became a cultural crisis requiring formal apologies, cultural sensitivity training, and months of rebuilding trust. The teacher left Korea within 6 months, completely broken by the experience. And that age hierarchy system, it made the apologies even more humiliating because she had to bow deeper to older parents, apologize longer, and accept blame more completely based on her age relative to theirs. Now, let's talk about Korea's worst-kept secret that everyone pretends doesn't exist: room salons. These aren't just karaoke bars or restaurants, they're exclusive venues where the real power moves happen, away from boardrooms and official meetings. High-ranking executives, politicians, and businessmen gather in dimly lit private rooms with hostesses who pour drinks, light cigarettes, and facilitate conversations worth billions. I was invited to one exactly once. The air was thick with cigarette smoke and expensive whiskey. Contracts were signed on napkins. Political alliances were formed between courses. Careers were destroyed with casual conversations. It's where Korea's shadow government actually operates, and participation is often mandatory for career advancement. Yet, admitting you go is social suicide. Here's the twisted part. Women executives are often shut out entirely. Reformists who refuse to participate face career stagnation. It's Korea's glass ceiling enforced through after-hours culture. And remember that age hierarchy? The oldest man in the room controls everything. His word is law. His decisions are final. But room salons are just one piece of a much larger puzzle. You see, Korea has perfected something that should chill you to the bone: the complete surveillance of its citizens, disguised as safety and convenience. Korea has more CCTV cameras per capita than almost anywhere on Earth. Facial recognition is everywhere. Your movements are tracked, recorded, and stored. Your phone, your subway card, your credit card purchases, the government can track it all in real time. They use this technology during recent global events to monitor citizens' movements and enforce policies. The digital footprint of every Korean is completely visible to authorities. Privacy, as Western societies understand it, barely exists.
But here's what's really disturbing. Most Koreans support this surveillance because it makes them feel safe. They've traded freedom for security so completely they don't even realize what they've lost. And that age-based hierarchy, it determines who gets access to surveillance data and who gets monitored most closely. While we're talking about control systems, let me tell you about Korea's school culture, a machine designed to break children's spirits and rebuild them as compliant workers. Korean students attend regular school, then cram school, called hagwon, then private tutoring. They study until midnight, every day, for years. The competition is so brutal that the government had to pass laws limiting hagwon operating hours because kids were literally collapsing from exhaustion. But parents violate these laws constantly. Underground tutoring networks operate after official cram schools close. Some students don't get home until 2 a.m., then wake up at 6 a.m. for regular school. I tutored Korean high school students who hadn't had a full night's sleep in months. Their eyes were bloodshot, their hands shaking from energy drinks and caffeine pills. Parents spend 75% of their income on education. Families go into debt for private tutoring, and the kids are developing depression, anxiety, and social disorders at alarming rates. One test, the Sunung College entrance exam, determines your entire future. Your university ranking determines your job, your marriage prospects, your social status for life. And guess what determines your treatment during this educational hell? Age hierarchy. Older students can bully younger ones with complete impunity. This brings us to something that perfectly encapsulates Korean society's relationship with image versus reality: plastic surgery. Korea performs more plastic surgeries per capita than anywhere else on Earth. But this isn't vanity, it's economic survival. Your face is literally your resume in Korea. Job applications require photos. Appearance directly impacts hiring decisions. Parents give plastic surgery as graduation gifts. Students take improvement breaks between high school and university for procedures. The pressure is so intense that not having surgery can actually hurt your career prospects. I knew a girl who worked 3 part-time jobs to save money for double eyelid surgery because she believed, correctly, that it would improve her job prospects. The procedures often westernize features, reflecting deep-seated issues about beauty standards and cultural identity. The taboo isn't getting surgery, it's admitting you haven't had any work done when you clearly have. And age hierarchy? Older family members often pressure younger ones into surgery, and their opinions carry more weight than the person actually going under the knife. But here's where this story takes a truly dark turn. All of these control systems, the age hierarchy, the surveillance, the education system, the beauty standards, they're all held together by something most people don't even realize exists. 5 family-controlled business empires called chaebols control over 60% of Korea's economy. Samsung, LG, Hyundai, SK, and Lotte aren't just companies, they're shadow governments with more power than elected officials. These families intermarry, control media outlets, influence education policy, and essentially run parallel societies. They have private security forces, intelligence networks, and can make or break political careers with a phone call. I once interviewed for a position at a chaebol subsidiary. The building felt more like a government facility than a corporate office. Security was intense. Background checks went back generations. They asked about my family's political affiliations, my personal relationships, even my blood type. The taboo isn't that they exist, it's how completely they control Korean life while maintaining a facade of democracy and free markets. Every other issue I've mentioned, the hierarchy, the surveillance, the education system, the beauty standards, they all serve the chaebol's interests in maintaining a compliant, controllable population. And now for the revelation that should terrify you most of all. Remember how I said Korean society believes your blood type determines your personality? Type A people are supposedly organized and anxious. Type B people are creative but selfish. Type O people are leaders. Type AB people are unpredictable geniuses. This isn't just casual belief, it affects dating, hiring, and social interactions. Dating apps include blood type filters. Parents consider blood type compatibility when approving relationships. Job interviews sometimes include blood type questions. But here's what I discovered that chilled me to the bone. This pseudoscience is used by those chaebols and surveillance systems to categorize and control people. Your blood type goes in your digital profile. It influences your social credit. It determines your job prospects. Korea has created a society where ancient superstitions, modern technology, and corporate power merge into a system of control so complete, so invisible, that most people don't even realize they're trapped. Every Korean must serve in the military for 18 to 21 months. No exceptions for celebrities, wealthy heirs, or geniuses. But military service doesn't just shape Korean masculinity, it reinforces every control system I've mentioned. The age hierarchy becomes military rank hierarchy. The surveillance systems are military-inspired. The chaebols profit from military contracts. Veterans recognize each other and maintain military-style relationships in civilian life. Your rank, your unit, your service record follow you forever. The experience is often traumatic. Hazing, abuse, and psychological pressure are common. Many men emerge with PTSD, but discussing military trauma is considered unpatriotic and weak. The military breaks them down, rebuilds them as compliant citizens, and sends them back into a society designed to keep them controlled. And here's the final piece of the puzzle that makes everything else make sense. Every Korean will tell you they want reunification with North Korea. It's patriotic, emotional, supposedly the ultimate goal. But here's the secret nobody admits. Most South Koreans are terrified of actual reunification. Not because of economics or cultural differences, but because North Korea represents what South Korea could become if the control systems I've described were pushed just a little bit further. The surveillance state, the personality-based social categorization, the complete corporate control of society, North Korea is South Korea's logical conclusion. South Koreans look north and see their own future reflected back at them, and they're horrified. The unification dream isn't about bringing freedom to North Korea, it's about preventing South Korea from becoming North Korea. But the most terrifying part? The systems are already in place. The surveillance infrastructure, the corporate control, the social compliance mechanisms, the elimination of individual privacy and autonomy, it's all there, just waiting for someone to flip the switch. So what does this mean for you? If Korea, a democratic, prosperous, technologically advanced society, can create such a complete system of control while maintaining the illusion of freedom, what's hiding in your own country? What surveillance systems are being built around you right now? What corporate powers are shaping your choices without you even realizing it? The age hierarchy, the shamanic corporate control, the surveillance state disguised as safety, these aren't uniquely Korean problems, they're warnings. They're glimpses of what happens when we trade freedom for security, when we let tradition override reason, when we allow corporate power to masquerade as democracy. Korea isn't just a travel destination, it's a case study in how free societies can slowly, invisibly transform into something else entirely, while the people living in them never realize what they've lost. What blew your mind? What parallels do you see in your own country? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? Drop your thoughts in the comments, but be careful what you say. After all, you never know who's watching. If you want to keep uncovering these hidden control systems around the world, subscribe now, because the deeper we dig, the more terrifying the truth becomes. And trust me, we're just getting started. Thanks for watching. Remember, in Korea, even your blood type determines your fate. The question is, what determines yours?